From a fat second-round pick who'd rather play with his horses, to a two-time MVP who changed the center position and became an NBA champion. This is how Nikola Jokic became the NBA's best player. The construction of the Joker started way before he shared his draft moment with Taco Bell. It goes all the way back to his childhood in Serbia. Because before Jokic ever laced up on the hardwood, he lived in a crowded apartment with a poor family of 6 and ran to bomb shelters seeking safety from the Yugoslav wars, ultimately building up an unmatched level of resilience and a deep connection to basic human values that would prevent Jokic from getting hypnotized by the money, women, and fame that came with signing an NBA contract. And thankfully, Nikola's 2 older brothers were both talented players, with a father who loved basketball more than anything. Or we may have never got to see the Joker in the first place, because from a young age, Nikola was shy, short, and chubby. In school, PE was his least favorite class, and when Dad signed him up for his first basketball practice, 10-year-old Nikola cried like a baby. But too bad for Jokic, he had no choice as he was destined to become an NBA legend. He began playing the point guard position, and his coaches quickly realized that this chubby child was pretty talented. He was the slowest kid in every game, but Jokic could really play. At 14 years old, Jokic tried to quit basketball because he found his true love, horses. However, his pops was smart enough to send him back to basketball, encouraging Jokic by painting the vision that he might be able to buy his own stable someday, through basketball. So, Jokic played with a fire under him, terrorizing the youth ranks, catching the eyes of the most influential basketball manager in Europe, Miško Rašnatović. At first, Rašnatović had no idea who Jokic was. Due to his big bone build, Nikola wasn't even among the 100 best young prospects in Serbia. Rašnatović only found out about Jokic through the local newspaper and saw that he was averaging 20 points and 20 rebounds per game. But considering the age group, his first thought was that Jokic dominated using his physical traits. So when he found out that Jokic was actually the least athletic player on the floor, without even seeing Nikola play, he demanded this kid get signed immediately. Jokic went on to win the MVP of the Serbian Youth League, making the first team All-EuroLeague team for juniors and a silver medal at the Under-19 World Championship. And I'd love to tell you it was a smooth ride from there, all the way to getting that NBA championship ring. But there was a problem. Nikola was too heavy to play professional basketball. At age 17, dude couldn't do a single push-up, and he was gassed after the first quarter. He appeared in 5 games of the first Serbian league, but averaged just 2 points and 2 rebounds in 10 minutes per game. Of course, mega coaches gave him a nutrition plan and were whipping him in practice to improve his conditioning, but Jokic barely shed any weight. Because young Nikola had a guilty pleasure, a Serbian pastry called Barek. Hey, nobody's perfect, but thankfully Jokic was blessed with an extremely supportive family. When his brother Nemanja returned to Serbia from the NCAA after fumbling his chance to go pro, he made it crystal clear to Nikola that if he ever wanted to buy his own horses stable, he needed to take his diet seriously. So, Nikola listened. However, Mega's head coach, Dejan Milovic, played an even greater role in the development of Nikola's career. Early on, Coach recognized that Jokic possessed a next-level court vision with untapped potential, so he gave Nikola complete freedom on the court. And while that might not seem like a big deal today, in 2013, 7-footers bringing the ball up the court like a point guard was basically illegal, unofficially. But Coach proved to be ahead of his time because 19-year-old Jokic delivered exceptional passing, footwork, and ball handling. Then, in the 2013 through 14 season, Nikola's hellish conditioning finally paid dividends, Jokic appeared in 38 games, averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in 25 minutes on the court. At last, it was time to enter his name in the 2014 NBA draft. Jokic's early brilliance was undeniable, but to act like NBA GMs should have treated him like LeBron James would be reaching. It's hard to be overexcited about an unathletic and chubby 18-year-old from Europe. So, Jokic fell all the way to the second round and 41st overall pick, with the honors of sharing the spotlight with that infamous Taco Bell commercial. But did it matter? No. On the other side of the Atlantic, Jokic didn't care either. What mattered was the Denver Nuggets took the chance on him, period. And now, if he played his cards right, his dreams of owning that horse's stable were closer than ever. So he decided to stay one more year in Serbia. In retrospect, it's probably not what 99% of us would have done, but ultimately, his decision proved to be the right one. Because even though Mega finished 10th in the Adriatic League in the 2015 season, Jokic averaged 16 points, a league-leading 9.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game, and became the league MVP. Now, it was time for Jokic to take his talents to the NBA. But as you might expect for a second-round pick, his start in the Summer League wasn't all that, averaging 8 points and 6 rebounds in 5 games. Not because he wasn't good, but because no matter how much weight he had lost, he still was not in great shape. Not for an NBA-level athlete at least. Simple fix though, and the Nuggets coaching staff had it handled. Between the Summer League and the start of the season, Jokic lost 25 pounds, but there was still a problem. His name was Jusuf Nurkic. He was a friend to Nikola, but the hard truth was that on the court, they were competitors. Coach Malone tried to play them together, but that was a disaster. There simply wasn't room for both of them, so it was a matter of time before one was cut. As a rookie, Jokic averaged 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, and made the all-rookie first team. Then he started his sophomore season even better. So, Denver executives made their decision and kept the 41st pick over the 16th, trading Nurkic away. Jokic wasn't the best, not yet, but he was quietly moving up the ranks. In 2017, Jokic kept getting better, putting up 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, while finishing top 4 in true shooting efficiency. Then in 2018, he was even better, averaging 18, 11, and 6. The media never liked talking about our boy more than they had to, but he was becoming the most versatile offensive center in the NBA. Since he played point guard for part of his basketball youth, Jokic wasn't afraid to dribble the ball, using his big body and technique to protect the ball while running through the paint. Then, he'd pull off the riskiest passes that would have resulted in turnovers with most other centers. But not for him, at least not usually. But unlike Draymond Green, who's also an elite passer for a big man, Jokic is also dangerous as a scorer. He can't jump over a puddle, but Nikola kills you with polished footwork, soft touch, and a series of head feints. He becomes a more dangerous killer when you factor in his fantastic face-up game, where he becomes the most unpredictable player in the NBA. If he's facing the basket at the top of the key, he might sink a mid-range shot or a floater right in the opponent's face. If the defender gets close, Jokic can get past either backing him down or facing up, and if everything else fails, he'll do his signature somber shuffle. If his development until now wasn't a sign of what was to come, Nikola developing a trademark move like the legends before him should have been a sign. And funny enough, the move looks as awkward as Jokic himself. It's a half-step back, half-fadeaway that looks like a clumsy version of Dirk's one-legged shot. But jokes aside, it's extremely effective. However, despite leading Denver to a top 5 offensive team, their defense was in the bottom 5, and a lot of the blame was on our man Jokic. And if somehow you're not picking up on how, it was once again his lack of athleticism and poor stamina that made him one of the worst defensive centers in the NBA. The Nuggets were improving each year, and in 2018 they won 46 games, but they forgot to smash that subscribe button and miss the playoffs by 1 game, losing the deciding game of the season against the Timberwolves. But that would all change very soon, because this second-round pick hasn't peaked yet. In 2019, Jokic finished the season with 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. He made his first All-Star team and first-team All-NBA, and the Nuggets finished second in the West, making the playoffs for the first time in 6 seasons. In the first round, the Nuggets beat the Spurs, but in the second round against the Blazers, they lost a hard-fought series in Game 7. However, Nikola nearly averaged a triple-double, and then in 2020, Jokic made the All-NBA second team. But overall, the Nuggets regressed, and their chances in the playoffs were slim to none. In the NBA bubble, Denver started out losing to the Jazz 3-1. But after Jamal Murray got the better of Donovan Mitchell in an offensive duel for the ages, the Nuggets won in 7, all to fall into the same hole again against the Clippers. At the time, only 11 different teams in NBA history had come back after being down 3-1. Now 13, and against all odds, they did it again. Another Game 7 victory. The Nuggets did it twice in the same playoffs. However, in the conference finals, the Lakers were too strong, and the Nuggets lost in 5 games. It wasn't the happy ending Denver hoped for, but it was the beginning of something no one ever anticipated. Because when the next season started, there was an incredible change in Nikola's appearance. That second-round pick that was apparently less important than Taco Bell had reached his final form. The Joker had arrived. Thanks to taking his diet and training seriously over the summer break, the Joker took his game from all-star to superstar, and his performance skyrocketed. Jokic averaged 26, 11, and 8 for the 2021 season, shooting extremely efficiently from everywhere on the court. But we already knew he was an offensive wizard. The major step up was in his defense. He'll never be a vertical rim protector like Rudy Gobert, but what he couldn't give with raw athleticism, he made up for in hustle. His positioning and long arms made him a plus defender when protecting the paint, and defensively, the Nuggets were 4 points better with the Joker on the floor. The Nuggets started playing aggressive defense when guarding the pick and roll, where Jokic did a great job at being active and denying the passing lanes inside the paint. And thanks to his summer evolution, Jokic was second among all centers in steals, 4th in the NBA in deflections, and 12th in contested 2-point shots. The Joker led the NBA in all advanced offensive ratings, and with his improved defense, he won his first MVP award. Unfortunately, there was no postseason success after Jamal Murray tore his ACL, ultimately leading to the Nuggets getting swept in the second round. But whether the NBA wanted to acknowledge it or not, the Joker was a problem for everyone. In 2022, the Nuggets didn't have Murray for the season, and they lost Michael Porter Jr. after 9 games. So they were down 2 of their 3 best players, and still, the Joker nearly led the team to 48 wins and a playoff berth. He became the first player in NBA history with 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in a single season, earning himself a second consecutive MVP award. Most fans believed he couldn't possibly improve after that, But the Joker was letting the world know to never judge a book by its cover again. In 2023, he finished 12 assists shy of a triple-double season average. His lifelong struggle in conditioning was no longer questionable, as the Joker regularly outran most centers down the floor, usually handling the ball and setting up teammates in transition. But the most amazing thing was how efficient he was. The Joker had one of the most efficient shooting seasons in NBA history, with a true shooting percentage over 70% for the season. Mind you, Jokic did that with only 23 dunks, and his scoring output was mainly floaters, jump hooks, and mid-range shots. Between 3 to 10 feet to the basket, a fair efficiency from an NBA player is about 45 to 50%, but the Joker was hitting with an insane 61% efficiency. And after the back-to-back playoff disappointments, it was time for the Joker to show everyone who the real MVP was. Because it sure as hell wasn't Joel Embiid. While the Sixers lost in the second round for the 5th time, the Joker dominated with one of the best playoff runs in NBA history. In the second round against the betting favorite Suns, the Joker averaged 34, 13, and 10, advancing in 6 games. In the conference finals, the Nuggets swept LeBron and the Lakers, with Jokic averaging another triple-double. Then in the finals versus the Heat, he averaged 30, 14, and 7, leading the Nuggets to their first NBA title and winning the Bill Russell Finals MVP trophy. Nikola Jokic became the lowest drafted player ever to win the award, and he was officially a champion. With 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists per game in the playoffs, Nikola became the first player in NBA playoff history to lead all players in total points, rebounds, and assists. The Joker also set the record for the most triple-doubles in a single postseason with 10, shooting a crazy efficient 55% from the field, 46% for 3, and 80% from the free throw line. And Jokic directly contributed to 55 points per game, the best playoff mark ever. Things that used to be his weaknesses became Nikola's strengths. But of course, there are always doubters. So the Joker had to show the world that his 2023 championship was no fluke. And sure, the Joker may not have gone on to win another Larry O'Brien trophy yet. But in 2024, the Joker maintained an elite 65% true shooting percentage while averaging 26, 12, and 9, and rightfully earned his 3rd MVP award. Because he was not just stat padding, he was winning. The Joker led the NBA with 17 win shares and an insane plus 684 plus minus when on the court, despite falling to the Timberwolves in Game 7, fueled by a 20-point comeback. Then, the 2025 season, it was nothing short of historic. Outside of Jokic averaging an unreal 29, 13, and 10, averaging a triple-double for the 3rd time, he became the first player in NBA history to rank in the season's top 10 for points, rebounds, assists, and steals, finishing in the top 3 for all 4. His efficiency remained off the charts with a 66.3% true shooting percentage and a league-best 32.1 player efficiency rating. Even his three-point shooting, considered a lower volume part of his game, reached a career-best 41.7%, jumping to 44% if excluding his signature end-of-quarter heaves. Not to mention his record-breaking performances, the first ever triple-double with at least 30 points, 20 rebounds, and 20 assists against the Phoenix Suns on March 7, 2025. He also set a career high with 61 points, the most points ever scored in a triple-double in NBA history. And he led the league with 32 triple-doubles, more than the combined total of the next 3 players on the leaderboard. While Shai Gilgeous-Alexander edged him out for the 2025 MVP award, Jokic still made history with his 5th consecutive top 2 finish in MVP voting, an achievement that hasn't been replicated since legends like Bill Russell and Larry Bird. So, why can we definitively argue that this second-round pick has become the best player in the NBA? It's not just the eye-candy statistics, it's the way he achieves them and the profound impact he has on every single player around him. The Nuggets' offense is historically efficient with him on the floor, and plummets to the league's worst when he sits. He doesn't just score. He orchestrates and makes everyone better. When compared to Luka Doncic, while Luka is a phenomenal scorer, Jokic is consistently more efficient scoring, superior when rebounding, and more efficient passing with fewer turnovers. Jokic also holds up better defensively as a primary rim protector, something the Joker better be damn proud of considering his struggles with defense in his development. When compared to Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jokic maintains better overall efficiency and is easily a superior playmaker, which means building a championship roster around Jokic is arguably easier, as his unique skill set allows teams to surround him with defensive talent and shooting, covering the hardest spot to find offensive production at center. When compared to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, while he just had an MVP season in 2025, the Joker's individual statistical dominance across multiple categories goes untouched. But because I know that won't be enough for some of you, SGA also played on a deeper roster, and his team's defense remained elite even when he was off the court. In other words, there's a far greater team dependency on Jokic for the Nuggets' success than there is on Shai for OKC. When compared to LeBron, even at 40, LeBron remains a top player, so no disrespect to the king, but the Joker is in his own tier right now. His stat dominance and offensive peak is comparable to that of Wilt Chamberlain. Between Nikola's unconventional genius, his ability to consistently produce historic numbers with unparalleled efficiency, and his transformative impact on team success, with a less star-studded supporting cast, Nikola the Joker Jokic has gone from a second-round pick worth less than a Taco Bell commercial to the best player in the NBA. And he got his horses stable. If you like this video, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and I know you'll love this next video right here. So, click it.